thank you to Dr. Mike. Right on schedule there. It does look like we are getting a live press conference regarding the deadly nursing home fire in New York, so let's listen in here.
RISKEAR, and I'm the fire coordinator for the County of Rockland. With me this morning, I have our County Executive, Ed Day, and we also have our EMS coordinator, Desiree Leone. So some facts about the fire call this morning. Approximately at 0:52 a.m., the Spring Valley Police Department received a call for smoke in the building at 65 Lafayette Street here in the village of Spring Valley, along with the fire alarms going off. The call was transferred to our 911 dispatch center, and the Spring Valley Fire Department was dispatched to the location. Upon arrival, Spring Valley Police had heavy smoke coming from the building and numerous reports of residents trapped in the building. This information was relayed to our county fire dispatch, who relayed it to our fire department responding. And when the first chief arrived on the scene, he had a heavy smoke condition with fire showing from the front of the building and reports of numerous people trapped. Spring Valley police officers were on the scene and already rescuing people from the building. As firefighters arrived on the scene, the priority was the residents of the building. At this point, we are estimating approximately around 20 to 30 residents were actually rescued from the building. The fire, as it grew, extended from the first floor up to the second and third floor and started involving one half of the building. And subsequently, we had about 26 mutual aid companies here at the scene as we speak now. There is a joint investigation currently going on with the Spring Valley Police Department, the Rockland County Sheriff's Fire Investigation Unit, the State Police, and the fire investigators from New York State Office of Emergency Services. There has been no speculation of any cause at this time. It's ongoing. And currently, we had a report of approximately 20 residents that were taken to local area hospitals, and the remainder of those residents were taken to a local adult care home in the area. We're estimating approximately 100 to about 125 residents lived at the Evergreen adult home, and we're still trying to figure out the exact number of residents that were actually in the building. The numbers are fluctuating as we do the head count, and we're still trying to work with the owner of the building to find out the exact number of residents. We are sad to report that there is one resident that passed away at our local area hospital. There are several others that are in serious condition. We had 2 firefighters that were taken to area hospitals. One was released, and one will be staying the night due to smoke inhalation and high CO carbon monoxide in their blood. The most saddest part I have to report today, we have a unaccounted for firefighter that's missing. We are currently in the process of looking for that firefighter. We have numerous teams digging through the rubble, and we are currently going to bring in a mini excavator to start pulling apart the remaining large pieces of rubble piece by piece so we can locate this firefighter and bring him home. We've been on the scene, again, probably well over 7 hours. A few minor injuries, slips and falls type injuries, but I want to stress that it's a sad day on many fronts, but the work by the local fire department, the mutual aid companies, and the Spring Valley Police Department saved numerous lives here. This investigation will go on for quite some time, and there's a lot of heroic actions that were taken here by all the emergency services. And we had numerous mutual aid companies from Bergen, all of Rockland. We have one from Westchester that's standing by in Nyack, and numerous EMS agencies here that transported, I said 10, 20, 30 people. So that's where we're at right now. We don't really have anything further to update. Again, there's still a lot of hot spots in the building. We're picking them apart to make sure the fire's out and deem the building safe.
Chris, I'm very sorry for your loss. The firefighter who was killed, we saw a very dramatic video very early on of walls collapsing, ceilings collapsing. Can you tell us anything about the circumstances in which this individual was lost?
So the report was that he went missing on the 3rd floor of the building while he was rescuing someone, one of the occupants of the building. Other firefighters helped assist and rescue other firefighters out the building down exterior stairwells. There was a mayday called by this firefighter, and the mayday was answered. However, with the extent of the fire, the volume of fire, the conditions were just too unbearable, where firefighters went in and they just could not locate the firefighter, and they had to back out.
And when a Mayday is called, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
What is that when a Mayday is called? Is that the most serious call that a firefighter can make?
Yeah, so when a Mayday is called, it means that they're in a perilous condition. Either they run out of air, they're lost, there's been a collapse, something that says, hey, you know what, I need help from outside teams to come in and help rescue me out of this building. I also want to stress, too, if I correct myself early on, we have an unaccounted firefighter. There's no confirmed fatality. We are searching. It's unaccounted for right now. And until that firefighter is accounted for, then we'll make that next statement.
Is there any hope for you that he could be found alive? And can you say a little bit more about his service, who he worked for, how long he's worked?
There's always hope. There's always hope, right? And the fire service will not give up any hope. He was a member of a Spring Valley Fire Department. He was one of the first firefighters that arrived on the scene, and he was participating in all the rescues like everybody else was.
But he was part of a team that went in. Several firefighters, the others were able to pull back, and either the floor collapsed or something happened where he could not get out.
Yeah, we believe at this time he got lost and just couldn't find its way out.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
It's an exterior operation at this point. What does the search entail? How are you going to do this?
So we had firefighters hand-picking through the debris in the area we believe that this firefighter went missing. And then we're to the point where now a mini excavator has to come in and kind of pick a larger piece of debris. There's steel, there's beams, there's refrigeration units, a lot that's in there. We got to start pulling it back and peeling it layer by layer in hopes that we recover.
There's no cause at this point, too early for that, but does anything lead to suspicious? Would we have heard clues to say that they were explosives?
No, actually, I've heard nothing yet about the investigation. We're waiting for the fire department to finish their job here, so the investigators can go in and continue conducting the investigation. But absolutely no cause yet. Nothing's even remotely thought of.
Was there any issue with the water pressure?
Yeah, there were some water pressure issues in the area. There was multiple hydrants that we had to hit. We had to go down to Route 45 in the village and lay a supply line to feed the engines. There were some water issues here, which slow things
Does the
down.
building have a sprinkler system?
I do not know if it's a man or a woman. I do not know.
Is there any possibility that anybody else is in the rubble?
That we're not sure. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the numbers of the residents that were there and that escaped are still fluctuating right now. We can't pinpoint an exact number, and we're still working with the building owner on how many exact people were in the building at the time of the fire.
How old of a building is this, and what is making this so stubborn at this point?
Well,
This is 7 hours.
this is a very old building. It was been several types of buildings in the past. I don't know the age of it. It's a very old. It's a frame building. It's had numerous additions on it. I believe it was a partial sprinkler system in the building. I don't know what the sprinkler system completely covered, but I know it was a partial one. And the sheer size of the building and the amount of fire, it's what's making it take so long.
Was it truss construction the way that wall came down?
Now, this is an older building, so there shouldn't be any truss construction in this building.
So if you talk a little again about, you have this raging fire in the middle of the night and the heroism on the part of firefighters to go in here and do what they did and get these people out. People out here crying, watching your work being done. If you could talk about, a lot of people can't relate to that, the work that you did here.
No, it's amazing. Rockland County is an all-volunteer firefighter service. The Rockland County is an all-volunteer fire service with 26 volunteer fire companies, and we're some of the best trained in the state, and if not the nation. We pride ourselves in the work we do here as volunteers, and Spring Valley is the busiest fire company in Rockland County by far. They're very experienced, and that company and all the mutual aid companies, when they get on the scene and there's people trapped or report people trapped, they know their job. They know what to do, and the priority is to rescue those residents.
This was an assisted care facility. Were most of the people elderly, or were there some that were disabled and adults who were unable to move very well on their own?
I'm not sure of the overall capacity of the residents. I want to introduce Ed Day, our county exec, for a few words.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a moment of great pain for the village of Spring Valley and for the entirety of Rockland County. As a former police commander, I'm standing here listening to this and going through the scene with firefighters, police officers, other investigators, EMS, and you feel the chills. And the comment was made earlier about how the firefighters. We have 23 or 26 volunteer fire departments. Now, many don't even realize we have volunteer firefighters here. Came on scene, and in that moment of pain, found their moment of heroism. Many people were rescued from this fire. Much of the damage that could have happened, even worse, and was stopped by those brave firefighters and all the support mechanisms around them. So today, what I'm asking from everybody is just to take a moment and just have a moment of gratitude for firefighters who, when they see an impossible situation, move forward in service to people, in service to the community, and again, as volunteers. They are amongst the best trained in the state of New York, and we are all very proud of them.
Do you know this facility? Can you say anything about the residents that were in there? Was it just elderly, or were there disabled adults?
I could not give you all the specifics about that right now. No, it's an adult care facility, so there could be people with certain limitations, which again would make the efforts of the firefighters even more difficult.
Do you know anything about the history of the facility, whether it passed inspections, whether it ever been cited for problems?
I'm sure that's a matter that will be looked at by the investigators. Again, we have a multifaceted investigation going on here right now between fire, state fire, our sheriff's department, Spring Valley PD. All these things will be looked at, and again, we're not going to engage in conjecture on exactly what may or may not have been. We don't have origin and cause yet right now.
What kind of questions do we have about this? Obviously, they got here and it was engulfed flames.
Right.
Massive fire. What goes through your head? What do you want to know about this?
Well, first of all, as Director Kear just mentioned, the building itself is one that would be conducive to a rapid spread of the fire, and beyond that, it would be just conjecture right now. What goes through my head right now is why it's so important that people have smoke detectors, that people are aware of the fact that a fire can overcome them very rapidly, have an exit plan. So, it's sad that it takes tragedy for us to be reminded of those things. So, but again, as far as the dynamics of what happened, cause and origin, any other details that may be contributory towards this fire, that will all come out as part of the investigation. It's just way too early to engage in that kind of guesswork. Okay, could you speak up a little bit? That will be part of the investigation. There obviously should be smoke alarms into place, so that would be part of the investigation.
At one point we saw something about an interior collapse of a staircase. Is that so?
I could comment on that.
Chris knows? Anything about that?
Yes.
In terms of the damage, there was an interior staircase that collapsed as well?
Yeah. There was a whole section. I'm sorry. Yes, there was a whole section of the one part of the building that collapsed. The rooms, the hallways, the staircases. There was a pretty major collapse. And we see the building in the back here. The back of the building, the wall collapsed, and some areas of the front of the building collapsed.
Chris, how the firefighters was unaccounted for? Third floor in the section that collapsed?
We believe the unaccounted firefighter was supposed to be on the third floor. Yes, that's where everybody was searching.
In the section that collapsed?
That whole entire section at some point collapsed. Yeah. So.
Talk about how you make the call to run into a burning building. How do firefighters know?
Well, it's obviously the report of people trapped in the building, right? And then their training kicks in. It's like second nature, especially if you're experienced, you've been through this before. And their goal is to get in. There's certain ways you search, there's certain rooms you search, there's search patterns, and as they come across victims, they get them and they pull them out, and they bring them out and they go back in. I saw numerous firefighters come out, drop patients off. EMS was taking them, picking them up, and firefighters going back in. So that's pretty much how it operates. You kind of go in, and unfortunately, sometimes the interior conditions get so unbearable that it's dangerous for you as a firefighter. But at some point where if there's people in that building, they probably don't have a chance. So you risk a lot to save a lot, and but you also got to save yourself too. So
when you got the initial call, was it an automated system or was it a person on the phone? Could you elaborate
So the initial call came in as a phone call to the local Spring Valley Police Department saying that there's smoke in the building and the alarm is going off. That was subsequently transferred to our local fire dispatch, which happens in seconds, and they dispatched the fire department. All right, 2 more questions, and we'll wrap up.
The fire is not under control and has not been
It is not, and there's no time frame when this will be under control. It really is.
Do you have any idea, like, what part of the building the fire did started? And when you pull up, there's a lot of fire coming out of the line.
It was very difficult to determine. It was on the front of the building, and it was lapping up into the windows above. So I'm not sure what section of the building it is, so I couldn't even speculate where that was. One more question?
Let me just add
sure.
one thing, Lisa. What I would like to say is that, just so there's clarity, what's not under control is a fire. The fire could come back up again, so that's what's not under control. The circumstances here are very much under control. We have all the right resources here to do a full investigation, make sure that everything that needs to be found out is found out. Those professionals are here and doing their job right now. So just want to clarify that minor matter.
We'll do one more question. Anybody?
Can you go through the time? Initial call came when, and when did you guys get here?
So the initial call came at 00:52, and the call was transferred to fire dispatch. They were dispatched to fire department 1 minute later, and the first fire chief was on the scene in like 4 minutes.
4 minutes, and,
Yep.
and then eventually on 23 and 26.
Oh yeah, as the fire department began arriving, I responded as a coordinator because they requested mutual aid, and then we just kept calling resources as the fire grew.
And
So
how many 23 and 26? How many personnel is that?
we probably had roughly about 125 firefighters here. Yeah.
How many other buildings burned as well?
Just that building. It's one very, very long building, tremendously long. So, it was all hands. Yeah, about 5 minutes into it, it was all hands because the size of the building, the amount of rescues we had, the amount of fire, you knew it would be very manpower intensive. We need a lot of departments. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to do. I'll come back down around 11:15, 11:20. I'll give you an update if we have one. If I don't have an update, I'll let you know. Hey, there's no update. And subsequently in the afternoon, we'll definitely come back with some more information for you guys.
Thanks
All right?
so much, yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Chris, Chris, Kear.
Appreciate it.
And that's it. I'm the fire coordinator. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody, that was the latest from Rockland County firefighters and local officials. Regina Gonzalez here tapping in to let you know that this press conference does seem to be about over. You heard him say that they will be back with another update at 11:15.